Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode or a previous episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. Or if you have any feedback to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know.
Alrighty, these reviews, you guys are dragging your feet a little bit.
Yep.
We are at the 92, or wait, no. We were at 91.
I'm pretty sure it was at 92 last time, too.
I don't know. It says 91 on Apple Podcasts, and now we're at 92. So thanks to that one person. Spotify, we were at 233, now we're at 239. So that's
They just need to
optimistic.
translate over to Apple.
We're moving at
Right.
snail's pace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I just don't, maybe it's because
They're
Apple
getting
Music
cold feet.
costs more.
It's
I
the
don't
final
really,
countdown.
or no, because podcast is, I don't get it. Because I feel like more people in the world have iPhones than like,
I think we've talked about this before.
But
I
people
don't,
just
I don't
prefer
use
Spotify?
Apple because I don't know.
Well, I thought
Yeah,
it was
but-
their platform to make a review is more difficult.
oh, is that what we determined?
I thought. I
Maybe.
remember we talked about it one time.
Yeah.
But
Well, Apple Music and Apple Podcasts are two separate things.
Oh, that's fair.
The
Yeah.
podcast app and
Oh,
they
yeah,
come on the
because-
iPhone, but it's like it's all free.
I don't, because you don't have
The
to.
podcast is free.
I listen to Crockers or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to have like a
And-
subscription through Apple Music
Mhm.
to listen to podcasts. So come on, people.
Yeah.
Use Apple Podcasts.
It's included.
You don't even have to
with your
download it.
phone.
Spotify, you have to download. Podcast, you don't. If you have an iPhone.
8 more. Those 8 people will receive something.
I'm going to go leave
even
a
though
review
we
tonight.
still have no idea what we're
A
doing.
funny video of me doing something embarrassing.
We're just dragging our feet too because everyone else is. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're following
We
everybody
don't have
else's
the drive
lead.
to figure
Maybe
out
if
something.
we pick up the pace, they'll pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Be the change.
That's what my mom's
I
getting
know.
tattooed on herself.
Be the leader.
Anyway.
She's with us. Okay.
Rochelle is here.
Okay. New review. I have loved listening to y'all. I'm currently a senior in undergrad applying to vet schools this year while working as a tech at a local animal hospital. I just recently stumbled onto y'all's podcasts and socials and cannot get enough. There are so many interesting cases to hear about, as well as great advice for those trying to get in the field, which is exactly what I want to listen to. From George Anna Gray. Thank you for the review.
Yep.
And welcome to the pod, or the VRT, the Veterinary Roundtable.
Or our
Since you're
roundtable.
new here.
Or
Even though we no longer have a round table if you watch at home.
that is very
We never
ironic.
did.
Oh, we never did have a round
Yeah.
table.
It's very rectangular.
We have
Square
the veterinary
table.
rectangle. Rectable.
I think it's
Rectangle
just a metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like the Knights of the Round Table.
We go around.
That too. That's another good way.
Something like that. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
senior and undergrad,
yeah.
so good luck.
Yeah.
Because this is prime time right now.
Uh-huh.
This is like, I wanted to say another Olympic analogy.
Go for
I'm watching a lot of Olympics.
it.
So this is the final heat. This is just the time when you go for gold.
Mhm.
Just apply to as many as you think is realistic for your life.
Yes.
Right.
Because you still have to pay for an application, which
Mhm.
is a bummer. But in the grand scheme of it, it's not as much as vet school.
Great.
So get excited.
It's just a little taste of the payment.
Ignore her.
No, but seriously.
Congratulations. Good luck. Everything
Yes.
between.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know if you get in, all
Yeah.
that stuff. And keep listening because you will probably find this more interesting now if once you start learning.
Mhm.
And we'll be here. We
We'll
ain't
be-
going nowhere.
That's the plan.
Okay, if you have not already, or if you're new here, we do have some social medias on the Instagram and the TikTok at the Veterinary Roundtable. We post some fun stuff. So check it out. It's a good time over
Yerp,
there.
yerp.
Well, here we go. I'm
Okay.
Courtney Allen.
Yeah. I'm Devin Fortune.
I'm Dr. Ashlyn Duckwall, but also my alter ego is here, aka my sickness, aka my man voice. So
It is still
me.
Duckwall.
It
if you're
is still
listening.
me, believe it or not.
Ashton.
And if you hear coughing in the background, I am doing just fine. You just learn to drown it out. Okay, pits and peaks,
Okay.
everyone.
Would you like to start?
I'm going to go ahead and just
I
shout
wonder
out
what
the
your pit
obvious.
is.
Your pit.
My pit is that I do not feel great.
Mhm.
But you know what? I'm here
You are.
because I care about the podcast and our listeners. And hopefully people don't get off put by my voice. But,
Mhm.
you know, it is what it is.
Some
Also,
people think like when you lose your voice is sexy.
oh,
A lot of people like it, like the
Oh.
raspy voice. No one's
Ooh.
ever
You guys
even
think
never
she's-
talked
it's like
to you?
I want to start singing. I always think of the country song, Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low. I can't get that low, but I'm pretty close.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some
That's
people like
close.
when they lose their voice.
Yeah, I like when I lose my voice.
Mm.
It's a thing. It's a
I feel like
sexy
I'm
voice.
just
It's
expending
raspy.
more energy to
Yeah.
talk because it's not all there.
Mhm.
But the other pit was kind of scary on the way here to the podcast. I took the highway. It's a 4-lane highway and there's construction all up on it. But it's really bad. But I got on the highway and there were these two, I think, construction trucks. They had the white blinking lights.
Mhm.
And I kid you not, they got in each lane and slowed down to 35 miles an hour. Like I was right behind them. But then in the left lane behind the first truck was this huge semi with this huge piece of equipment. And I saw as traffic was coming up behind me, this huge semi truck was coming up and realized we were going slow, got in the freaking shoulder and started to try to go past us. So I'm squished. My car is squished between these two huge semis. And I was just laying on the horn because I don't know what the semi was trying to accomplish.
Right.
You can't do that, first of all, even if you're a small vehicle.
I don't know if they thought maybe they were coming in hot and they
Right.
couldn't brake
Slow
fast
down.
enough
Yeah.
was my afterthought. But that's still, I was like, I'm trapped. I hope.
I hate being squished between semis.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden after they cleared some of the farmland, I think they were with Reynolds, they like gave each other a thumbs up and then just took off to normal speed. So I don't know what was going on.
The semis?
No,
the
the
two
two
construction trucks.
the
I'm
trucks.
guessing,
Yeah.
Huh.
Ew.
So yeah, be safe, people.
You survived.
No
I
offense to
survived.
semi drivers. Like, I couldn't do what you do, but they act like they own the damn road. Like,
Well,
they just
that
don't
was my
care.
initial thought. They just wanted to get on
Yeah.
and get around, but
Especially if you have a small car, they don't see you, or they're just like,
Yeah.
"We're gonna come over because you have to move." I'm like, "Hello, I'm down
yeah.
here."
I'd like to think he was trying to save my life, so I'll just go with that and be
Okay.
optimistic.
Cup
But-
half full.
I'm sure
Got
it's
it.
like he couldn't brake that quickly.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, because I mean it's a highway.
Right.
It's 60 miles
And yeah,
an
if
hour.
he has that big of a vehicle,
yeah,
can't stop like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
My peak.
You got it.
The Olympics. I am watching a lot of the Olympics, and you know what? It is something like soothing in the background when you like have sports on. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is. I feel like I'm not frying my brain as much when it's like sports on all
That's fair.
day.
Yeah.
And it's been really intriguing and fun to watch. I haven't watched a lot of tennis, actually. I've watched a little bit
Well.
of tennis, but I don't like watching clay.
Yeah.
I don't like playing on
Clay?
clay. And yeah, they're on clay tennis courts out in Paris right now.
Oh,
So.
I thought you meant like there was a sport for like clay pottery in the
No.
Olympics.
I mean, there could be,
I was like,
honestly,
you don't like
probably
watching
next
that?
time.
huh?
I like watching the swimming, though. It's always in gymnastics.
I've never been into the Olympics. Like, I don't think I've ever watched
I just
like a
watched the
full.
horses.
I just
Yeah,
don't.
I like watching horses.
My
too.
family was never into it. I don't know. Just not something I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
it's Olympic time.
But I also don't have like, what do you watch it on?
Peacock. Mostly. There's some on, we have YouTube TV, but Peacock is like the big station for like
Mhm.
all the different options right
Yeah,
now. So
I
Yeah. I wasn't able to watch it this last Friday, but I think the horse their final round is next Friday. So
yeah, they were doing dressage on my way here, I
Gotcha.
believe. Yeah.
yeah, I'm into the jumpers and cross
Oh,
country.
yeah.
So dressage is not for me.
Yeah, I don't really understand the scoring. I need to know the scoring a little bit better.
Mhm.
Ton.
Have you guys
To,
seen the Snoop Dogg video?
Oh my God. The
It's
fact that Snoop
amazing.
Dogg, that's the one part of the Olympics I have watched.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg is there, and that just brought like
No. The
whole-
video of him reviewing the
Oh.
dressage
No.
video.
No,
Oh my
I just
gosh.
seen him there because that just brought a whole new element to the
You guys
Olympics.
have to watch it. It's so funny.
Okay.
Because dressage, like it's all fancy and
Yeah.
dancing.
Can you
and-
send it to us?
Yeah. He's like, oh, that horse. Bad word. Crip walking. Like, it's really funny. You have to watch it.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
funny.
I love me some Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's just a free spirit.
Mhm.
I just love him.
He's going to be on The Voice, which I think is
Really?
super random, to be
Well,
honest
they
with
also
you.
very
had,
interesting.
Yeah.
They had an interesting one this season, and I forget. It was another rapper.
I don't watch it.
I don't know.
I don't watch anymore.
They were interesting. That'll be fun. Can you imagine being on his team?
I don't understand the coaching he's going to
I was
provide.
gonna say, like, does
As
he,
a
can
rapper.
he truly sing other genres? I don't think so.
Snoop. That's him, right?
Yeah.
That's a little bit of singing.
Yeah.
G.
Okay, that's it. You
okay,
guys
moving
go.
on. Peak. I went to Florida to see my sister. And it was very fun. I got back last night. I'm so tired.
Oh yeah, man.
That's my pit, honestly. This is probably the most sleep deprived I've been in a long time. I got off to a rocky start because I flew out Friday. My original flight was at 3, but I stayed super late at work the night before. I was at the clinic until 9.
Yeah.
Then I went home, basically went straight to bed, and then I went to the airport. I got there at 1:30. The second I walk in the door.
In the morning?
No, PM.
Okay. I was like, there's no flights at 3
But then like
a.m.
Friday morning, I was like packing, like doing all the things. I did some school. And the second I walked in the doors of the airport, they delayed my flight to like 5, and then they delayed it to 7 and then 10. So I'm sitting at the gate from 1:30 to like 9:30 until we board. And I ended up getting there at like midnight, but I just sat at the gate for like 8 hours and I couldn't get myself to fall asleep because like I had valuables and stuff. And then I had a very like long, hectic party-ish weekend. And I got back last night at like 10:30. So
I guess you could have. Did someone drop you off? Because you could have left and come back.
No, I drove myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then you got to. Oh, that's such a hassle.
Sitting at the airport's the worst.
Yeah.
Especially if you're by yourself.
But it was just kind of like go
Yeah.
on Thursday night.
Traveling's a lot.
That's
but
crazy
yeah.
that you work today. I always take a buffer day.
Yeah.
Always. I always give myself a buffer day because I can't like get back from a trip and then go to work.
I just feel like to me it's like
then
a
I'm
waste
just pissed off and I'm tired.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to waste the PTO, I guess.
oh,
That's why I do it.
Yeah.
that makes
And
sense.
like the sun just takes it out of you, I feel like, and
Yeah.
the beach, and
Oh, the beach
Yeah,
sounds lovely.
it was really nice. So yeah.
Okay. I have 2 peaks actually. So my first peak was Jake, my husband's birthday this past weekend. So it's just fun celebrating him because he's my favorite person in the whole world, and I like celebrating him. And then my other peak was my wedding was last October, and I finally got one of my gifts from a friend, and it was a kayak. And it needed a little bit of TLC because it was a little dirty. It was hers, but she used it like probably twice. So it's like brand new. It just was sitting outside, so I had to clean it. And I got it all clean. And then my mom was like, screw it, I'm going to go buy one. So we went and bought her one last week. And we went kayaking.
Oh, that's so fun.
So we may go today or we may just go to the pool. I don't know.
Nice.
But it was really fun. I like kayaking.
Where would you kayak?
On Moors. My parents live in a neighborhood
figured,
like North Harbor's on the lake. So, but yeah, it was really fun. And then my pit... I don't know if I have a pit.
Solid.
Your pinched nerve.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. Last week I somehow injured myself and had a really bad pinched nerve in between like my shoulder blade and my neck. And I worked through it for like 2 days, and then I woke up Friday and couldn't even pretty much get out of bed or dress myself, so I had to stay home from work. And it was very painful. It wasn't like a relaxing day off from work where I just slept all day. I was in like it because I couldn't lay down. Because then I'd have to strain my neck to get up, and Jacob wasn't home to help me up.
Did you like do anything
And then
that seemed to help? Like, did you go to a doctor?
pinch
Or,
nerve, you can't. There's really
I didn't know
nothing
if you like
can do
did
for
any
him.
heat or.
No, I did. I mean, I heat and iced it all day, but I just sat on I sat straight up on my couch and I couldn't move. It was horrible.
Our job's too physical to be
Yeah.
able to work through that.
Yeah, it was
Just make it worse.
So I've never had a pinch nerve that bad, but it was miserable.
Was it better Saturday?
Yeah, because I did nothing
Yeah.
Friday. I didn't do a
Yeah.
dang thing.
You were looking at me like,
Yeah, it hurt so bad.
The side,
Right?
the dog, like
I
the
was like,
dogs with the
"What'd you
side eye,
say?"
are just like,
Yeah, it was painful, but I'm all better now. It's still a little
Good.
tight, but I can move.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's all good.
good.
okay,
Listener inquiries, however
Yep.
we want to say it. Okay.
whichever.
Can
Would you
we
like
go for
to-
this one?
yeah,
Sure.
read the
Okay.
second one.
Hi, I just wanted to thank y'all so much for your insight and advice for mom guilt in this field. I am a former vet assistant and didn't have plans to go back to work when I had my daughter almost 11 months ago. I experienced having an empty cup for veterinary medicine, and my heart was longing to get back in it and pursue my goal of being an RVT. Because of this, I am now in vet tech school online, and I am already dealing with mom guilt at just the thought of leaving my baby for my first externship. Listening to your experience and hearing that someone else understands this feeling of wanting to be in vet med and also wanting to be with your child at the same time is so comforting. Your advice on how to balance the two has truly helped me. Thank you so much. From Bella.
That's cool.
Good job, Ducky.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Yes.
And King, who's not here.
Right.
Mhm.
But she said wise words as well.
Mhm.
Right.
Hopefully that's the goal,
Yeah.
to impact somebody. So
Mhm.
good luck, Bella. You can do it. It'll be hard sometimes, but just remember your baby won't remember right now. And
Right.
They love you anyway.
You're showing them how to be a working woman
That's right.
and
That's
a
some
good mom at the same
advice.
time.
That's right.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, next one. Hi, my name is Molly, and I love listening to your podcast. I have been a technician for the past 3 years. I am currently in pen foster so that I can get my CVT. My question is, how do you maintain a good work-life balance? I work full-time, have my pen foster classes, and I am studying anesthesia because I have recently started in surgery. Any tips and tricks are greatly appreciated. You guys are the best. So
I feel like you're really good
Right.
at this one.
Take it away.
I always say it's like, for me at least, it's always going to be a work in progress, like finding the balance. And I wouldn't say that it feels balanced. I don't know, but I like on my lunch breaks, I'm not going to lie, I do school because I'm already like in the work mode. I've been working all morning, so I just want to get more school done. And then after work, some evenings I do school, but I try to like prioritize that during the lunch break. And then honestly on the weekends is when I do most of my school. So I would say like my evenings tend to be where I can get some of my life back.
Do you have like set hours on the weekends where you're like,
no, that's
you
the
just kind of
thing.
do whatever?
Yeah, because like the schedule's always so different.
Right.
And if I'm really sleep deprived, I'm not going to do school because like I want to be able to focus, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my method is just like doing crunch time when I feel like it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have a schedule or routine. per
I think that
se.
makes sense because you're already at work. You're,
Yeah.
in the working mentality.
Mhm. It's not like
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like I have a lunch break and then I go home every night and do 2 hours of school and then on the weekend do a few hours,
Yeah.
you know? It's just,
Especially after a long day being on your feet and wrestling animals. Like,
yeah.
I'm clocked out by the end of the
Mhm.
day and I don't do as much physical stuff as you
Mhm.
guys. So
Mhm.
I can see how that would be so difficult,
Yeah.
but
Or like I'll get all the reading done in like my lunch break time period. And
Yeah.
then on Saturday, I'll take like a few big tests, you know? And then Sunday, I might like start the next topic and then have Sunday afternoon to myself. But
Yeah.
Do you feel that you have a good work-life balance?
I do.
you
Yeah,
still
I
went
feel
to
like all
Florida.
you do
And
is
I know
work,
it'll be
work,
worth
yeah.
it in the end. Like,
Yeah.
I got my big subject done before I went to Florida. I read basically my entire textbook in the 8 hours that I was sitting
There
there
you go.
for.
Good work.
So I got a little ahead, but I don't know. I'm just trying to get it done as quickly but like thoroughly as I can.
Yeah.
So that is more important to me than necessarily a balance, I guess.
Sure.
Just depends where your priorities are.
Yeah.
And you
So-
said you're an overachiever, so you're going to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I'll have my life back when I'm done with school.
Yeah.
I'll have so much free time.
It's always temporary, right? School is
Yeah.
just a temporary thing. So,
Also, I just want to say we have 2 people that are doing online vet tech school.
oh yeah.
Those 2 reviews. So I'm glad to meet some more people.
And they're doing vet tech stuff during the same
Yeah.
time, right? So just
Kudos to
combining
you.
that experience with book stuff,
Mhm.
which is, I think, the best way to learn. Like, it's like common sense. I feel
Yeah.
like that should be
Mhm.
more of how people learn in our field or in many other fields too.
Mhm.
But
It's so different.
okay. Good luck.
Good for you guys. Go kill it. Go kick some butt. Oh, it's my
Would
turn.
you like to do your spiel?
Okay.
Do your spiel.
Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
your
I know. I
spiel.
was getting
Oh, okay.
I was just looking the page.
Okay.
So on to our little text message service. Oh, I didn't make my video. I forgot.
Oh, that's okay. We have
Dang it.
time.
Okay, I'll do that here soon. But on the podcast, whatever provider you listen to, when you go to our page, I guess, or profile or whatnot, you click on an episode.
Mhm.
On the top of the page, it says send us a text or click a link on our to send us a text and whatnot. And you click that and then you are able to text us. And you can text us whatever you want. It can be a review. It can be a question. It can be a concern. It can be a comment. You can tell us about your day. You can tell us your pits and peaks.
You can tell us how to get better.
Yeah, send me
yeah.
good vibes.
You can give us some positive vibes, whatever you want. And then just make sure you put your name if you want a shout out. Otherwise, it comes through anonymous. I feel like that was really bad because like over here.
I hope Harrison can cut out my coughing because
I
it
don't think
is.
it hears you if you're
No,
next to the
It's
mic.
potent. It is
Yeah.
a strong
Potent?
cough. Potent?
I don't know if that's the word I would
That's not the right
No.
word.
That means that it like smells super bad, like super
Intense?
strong.
I hope it doesn't smell. I can't really smell right now.
You
It's
could say
like
harsh, maybe.
harsh,
intense.
guttural.
What?
It's just my. I've got those. I have kennel cough. That's truly what I feel like because
I've seen a lot of kennel cough
my
dogs.
trachea vibrates when I cough and it hurts. And then it's like.
Breaking news. Kennel cough is contagious to vets.
Oh, God. Let's not start that rumor.
Do not.
Anyway, sorry
6
again for
feet
the
apart.
background noise. You got your spiel.
Where were we? Oh, yes.
I did it.
You did it.
You just couldn't hear it over your cough.
Okay.
Harrison could do something fancy with the audio. It's fine.
Case collections.
We're starting with a listener case here.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is
Shall we
a good one.
popcorn? I know.
Between us, or would you like
When
to be a part of
I
it?
don't want to be a part of the reading.
Okay.
I'm still
I
saving my
actually
energy.
read this while I was on the plane, and I literally was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my,
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mouth
It
dropped.
just got more intense.
yeah."
All right, you want to start, and then you want to do the first two? I can do the bottom two, whatever. How many are there?
6.
Oh dear. Okay, just stop when
7?
it feels right.
Okay. Okay. A haunting case from Alex Wolf. Hello, I'm an RVT student out of Lebanon, Ohio. I have been in the field of veterinary medicine for over 5 years. I just started listening to your podcast, and now it is my religious car ride ritual on my way home from work. I appreciate being able to hear struggles, wins from others in the field. We are a very small, chosen few and need to stick together to better the culture. I wanted to share a case years ago that has stuck with me and has completely haunted me for years. One day we had a client call the hospital, frantic to the point we couldn't understand what she was saying. My boss/owner got on the phone and was trying to calm her down, but it didn't work. Eventually, he told him to come straight to us. He said the owner kept saying so much blood over and over again.
At the time, I was an assistant and was waiting in our lobby for this owner to arrive to be able to instantly triage the dog. It was a 9-year-old female spayed German Shepherd. The owners raced up to our front door. I ran out to their truck to grab them and the dog. Once I got to the back door, the female owner kept yelling there was so much blood. I made eye contact with this dog, who was calm and in a sitting position. I grabbed the dog's leash and walked her through our front door. The dog trots up to the scale and sits down, still all seemingly well. While CSRs are rooming the owners, I ran the dog to treatment where my boss was waiting to examine her. Everything seemed fine, and we were both so confused. Then hell broke loose. The dog started spraying blood from her mouth, almost like projectile vomiting. Then went purple and lateral. We got her oxygen to place an ET tube, all while she was still spraying blood from her mouth. I'll never forget the look on my boss's face when he opened her mouth and instantly went pale. After a history from the owners, we eventually found out that the dog ate a stick at the dog park and threw it up whole.
She had shredded her trachea and esophagus so bad there was no way to get an airway. It was estimated that she vomited up at least 2 liters of blood while she was with us. The owner did choose to humanely euthanize. Since then, no one in my hospital will let their pets chew on sticks. This case has always stuck with me through my career. It reminds me that we aren't always called to save everything, even though we want to so badly, and how much euthanasia is a gift.
That is
Preach.
intense.
I'm just like, every time I read this,
I can picture it.
envisioning,
Mm-hmm.
like what that had to look like when it just shredded the esophagus and the trachea.
Yeah. And it's crazy to me that the dog, like, for a split second was well enough to just, like, trot
Dogs,
in,
animals
get
blow
on the
my mind.
scale.
Right?
They literally blow
But
my
like,
mind.
if there was so much blood already at home, it's just mind blowing. I can't imagine.
That's probably why
what
it went.
that looked
That's why
like.
it probably went lateral. It was like no blood.
Yeah, it
had
was
no
like,
blood.
I'm done. I got nothing
Uh-huh.
left. Oh my
Euthanasia
gosh.
is a gift.
I really liked how she ended
Yeah.
that story because even though we want to save everyone so badly,
Mhm.
can you imagine that pain
Right.
and that
The
suffering?
healing. Could you even fix it?
I literally, I have no idea. Probably not because the dog wasn't stable.
Could you,
Right.
How
to
are you
even
gonna-
undergo
Could you
anesthesia?
put, like,
you can't if you can't tube it. What you'd have to do
Exactly.
that'd be way too much.
You're
on
probably
that
going to need a
animal.
blood transfusion to
Yeah.
stable. I mean,
At that
no.
point, like it doesn't. That's just not nice. To
No.
do the animal.
Yeah. And that would be so expensive. Oh my
That's-
gosh.
that's wild.
Yeah.
I have not.
That would
we've
haunt me
seen
as well.
dogs eat sticks, and we've had them stuck in mouths. But I mean, and they have thrown up pieces of sticks, but throwing it up whole.
And tearing.
Yeah, because the one that I came to mind was I don't know what breed it was, but the dog had blood coming from its mouth, and I think a like odor or something. That's
Oh,
why
yeah,
the
there
owners
was-
brought it in, and she had a
Mhm.
huge hole.
It was a huge hole in the
We were
back
like,
of the mouth.
oh,
Yeah.
there's her trachea or her esophagus. We're like, nope,
No,
that's a
that's a
different
hole.
hole. It was
Yeah.
like next to that opening.
Yeah, that
There was
one was
another
crazy.
opening.
Yeah.
We
That
never
one was
got
pretty
to recheck
intense.
that one, but
No,
that was a pretty deep
but they
hole.
said she was doing good because
Yeah.
she started eating and everything again.
Yeah.
I remember that.
but that was probably nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
So don't let your pets chew on sticks.
If at all
right?
possible.
Like, oh my gosh.
Or they'll
I
get
know
them
it's
stuck like, on
hard,
the roof of their
but
mouth,
yeah.
like in between their teeth.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we have to be very careful about making a dog vomit, depending on what they eat, because that's things you worry about.
If it comes back up wrong.
Yes.
That's why don't ever just induce vomiting on your own at home. Call your vet first.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to make sure it's safe, like a safe thing.
Because they don't come up the way they went down all the time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yikes. Oh, dear.
Poor doggy.
Okay.
Case collections.
I'll go. Mine's really fast. It's just more of an update, actually. I was putting it off for a little bit. I kind of forgot to mention it. But if you've been listening to the podcast for a few months now, we had a little golden retriever. His name was Jeter. And he had cancer and he was going through chemo treatments and things like that. But unfortunately, he lost his battle. And the owners decided to euthanize him due to quality of life. And they just didn't want to watch him in pain anymore. So R.I.P. Jeter. Yeah, it was really hard.
He had really bad lung cancer.
Yeah.
I will say the note that the owner wrote was the nicest, most heartfelt note I've ever received so far in my career.
I agree. I said the same thing after I read it. I was in tears. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It was just this piece, I feel like, that I was reading from them. And then obviously, depending on your religious beliefs and where you're at with that, incorporating God's creation. So it was beautiful. It was really touching. It was really,
his words were very well written.
Yeah. So we do appreciate hearing though, like just processing with the owner.
Yeah.
Whatever form that comes in is also very healing for us too. So
it's also encouraging, makes us want to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Yeah. Mine is Charlie. She is, I think, a 6 or 5-year-old female spayed burner. We love her. She's the sweetest dog, but we saw her several months back for ADR, and unfortunately she had a very large splenic tumor. So we did a splenectomy, and during the procedure, there were spots on her liver. So we also collected biopsies of the liver. And if you know anything about Bernese mountain dogs, unfortunately, they come with a genetic predisposition for histiocytic sarcoma, and that's what it came back as. So depending on what organs are involved and everything, you can still proceed with chemo and get a decent prognosis of time. So that's what the owners elected to do. And she got her first dose of CCNU, I believe is what it was. And that's a pill capsule. Fortunately, 3 days later, she declined heavily. Like she was severely anemic, ADR. They had to go to an ER, needed a blood transfusion. She was in the hospital for multiple days, and the concern was like she wasn't going to make it. And so the interesting thing about that was the blood work when she declined was most consistent with hemophagic histiocytic sarcoma, which is basically involvement of the blood and bone marrow. And that's just it's a terrible prognosis. Dogs typically don't make it to their second chemo dose with that type of cancer. And the reason why the oncologists suspect that's what the type she has is based off of the changes that were on her blood work at the ER when she was declining. Now, they get blood transfusions typically when this happens, and it kind of depends on how long the blood transfusion will last. And she's been doing pretty good several weeks after that decline. So it's one of those where the owners elected not to continue the chemo, rightfully so, I think, because one, it was really scary. 3 days after it, she declined so badly. But then with a very poor prognosis, they just didn't feel they wanted to put her through more treatment and just enjoy her life. I saw her yesterday and she was much spunkier than I thought she would be. She's still not the same dog we knew, but she's still very anemic with a hematocrit at 24.9%. But it actually was stabilized or steady from the last check, which was, I believe, a week or 2 weeks ago. So she's kind of defying the odds right now. She's not completely declined again. I think the owners were very honest in saying it's really hard living in this limbo with her because it's up and down. Like she eats, but that she's not feeling the same. And there's nothing more we can do other than continue chemo. She's on prednisone for palliative care now, but yeah, it was just kind of a really quick turnaround for this dog.
So did she have the underlying blood and bone marrow?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
involvement prior to the CCNU and that aggravated it and like made it show its true colors?
I don't know the answer to
Okay.
that because it's not that type of cancer is more rare. And there's not a lot of data even to support like continuing chemo with that type.
So finding
Gotcha.
it can be difficult.
I think from my understanding of what the oncologist said, it was the changes on her blood work and then her history with it in the spleen and liver already is why they put those pieces together. I don't know, because we did histopath on the spleen only, I don't know if you can do like a bone marrow aspirate or something
okay.
like that or a different test.
Yeah.
I've never diagnosed it, so it's my first time learning about it. But
So she has two different types of
Interesting.
cancers technically then.
no, it's
Or is it the
histiocytic
same-
sarcoma. There's
Like a
different.
special.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hers is diffuse. It's just
Okay. It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay. But we didn't see the changes on her initial blood work
Correct.
from it? Okay.
Correct.
We
Yep.
just saw after the chemo dose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm.
And that's the question the owners have too, is like,
Did it
is this a
exacerbate
sign?
that?
Yeah. Does it coincide with chemo? Did chemo cause it? And that's not a typical reaction for chemo for that drug. So that's why it could have potentially provoked it, or it just was the timeline in which it showed its face. I don't know. But
Mhm.
yeah.
That
We'll see.
sucks. I just found out yesterday that she had cancer.
Yeah.
I had no
Wait.
idea.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Well, when
I knew we
saw
did a
her-
histopath, but then I wasn't like, I just didn't update myself on the case
Yeah.
because it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
Uh-huh. No, I saw
And
her
she
a
came
couple
in
weeks
yesterday
ago
and
for the blood draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had shave spots on her legs. And I was like, why are,
She's so
why are her
hard to
legs
get blood
shaved?
on.
Yeah.
And Duck was like, chemo. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was a little stunned
Yeah.
because she is definitely a favorite.
I know. I asked that too. I was like, wait, we did her splenectomy. Like,
Yeah, I didn't hear anything after.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a bummer.
I mean, once I tried to even look up more information about that particular type, but I didn't have a lot of time to look into it. So I can definitely follow up with more information and
Interesting.
just,
Look, we're all learning something.
yeah, I know. It's sad. I really like this dog.
Yeah.
So
And their owners are great.
I know. We'll see. That's my
Mm.
case.
Okay. Mine is a 10-year-old female spay German Shepherd who has a history of PLE and IBD. She presented for inappetence and diarrhea, so we just kind of thought it was a flare-up of those conditions. We did in-house blood work, which came back with elevated white blood cells and kidney values, so we added on a urine. So we went and got that urine via cysto, and her bladder was massive, so afterward I brought her out to the play yard to go potty, and she couldn't pee.
Oh.
She squatted down, nothing came out, and then I was like, that's weird. Went again, like a long squat, not even a drop. So we brought her back to ultrasound, and Dr. Jones did like a full bladder ultrasound, and it was hard to find, but she found a concerning structure mass lymph node on the dorsal aspect of the trigone.
Huh.
And it was like near the end of the day, so she went to Indy Vet and they catheterized her, hospitalized, whatever, and then gave her relaxers. We don't have the records yet, so I don't know what specific med they gave her. She started urinating around the catheter, so they were able to take it out and keep her on those meds. Now she's urinating on her own. Her appetite is still kind of finicky, but they have Entice on
Okay.
hand, and that seems to help. But they did take a sample of the structure in the bladder.
Yeah.
We're just waiting or not. It's not even in the bladder. It's on the outside.
That's what I was going to ask if
Yeah.
it was in or out. Okay.
No, it's outside. So we're waiting on those results. But it was really interesting
Fascinating.
because we totally just went in with the mindset like, oh, IBD flare up,
yeah.
and then boom, can't pee.
that's
Good
so
thing you watched.
But that's also, yeah, because like, especially females, like if an owner at home is like, you just let your dog out in the yard and
Yeah.
you see them squat, you're like, okay, great, they peed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially that big of a like a fluffy dog,
Yeah.
you're not going to know if they're actually urinating
Mhm.
because they're so close to the ground.
And I guess with
So also the fact that you caught that, good job.
thanks. But I guess she was having some diarrhea too, which they had been giving her Metro for, and then she started straining to defecate, is what it said. So I'm like, was she
Oh.
straining to urinate at home? But I feel like there's a good difference. This is a good owner. Like she knows her dog, the routine. I don't know. So I'm just curious.
That's very interesting.
If she'd been straining to urinate or truly to defecate.
I'll hear that a lot too. If,
Or both.
Yeah, I mean, because the owner will say
Honestly.
that they're constipated, but they're
Mhm.
actually straining to defecate, or then it ends up being like a UTI. So,
Yeah.
especially in a female, you gotta
Yeah.
figure all that out.
Gotta start it.
Yeah.
Start at 0 and just.
Yeah, that's why
So
X-rays
I
are
will
important.
update with the results. when we have them.
Yeah, that's interesting because the trigone's so far caudal, like deep into the
Yeah.
pelvis area.
Yeah.
So
Took like 5-10 minutes to find it.
So yeah, that's a big dog.
fascinating. Good cases, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Lots to follow up on, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. We have some listener questions.
Listener question.
Yes, I see that.
With multiple questions.
Yes. Hi, I have 2 questions I was hoping you all would be willing to discuss sometime on the podcast. I am not in the vet field, but I work at a humane society, and I love listening to the podcast while cleaning kennels and walking dogs. Question number 1. What makes a good client? I listened to a dog training podcast, and they had a whole episode on things they wish their clients knew that would make their jobs easier. What are some things you wish your clients knew or did that would make appointments go more smoothly?
Showing up on time and not being late.
Know that we are trying our best.
Yes.
Why wouldn't we?
Yes. We are not just in it for the money.
And when we tell you that we cannot perform treatments on your dog or your cat, we are not lying and we are done.
Yes.
No, I'll
We're
hold on
done.
for you.
Yep.
None of that. We have done everything we can
Yes.
to
We
stay
too
safe,
have.
keep them safe.
Yes. We too have your animal's best interests at
Yes.
heart.
Believe it or
Literally.
not.
Or better sometimes.
Yes.
We are not just in the field for money because there's no money.
That's
We
right.
has no money.
I think for an appointment to go more smoothly, it's super helpful when owners know their animal's triggers. So food aggression, they're better away from their owner. Just so many different, don't use the window room because
Right.
they're going to react. I mean, those little things go so far when you only have a certain time slot to do an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you know that your dog needs drugs or your cat needs drugs
Yes.
before coming in, please call us before. That is amazing.
We
Yes.
try to remind ourselves as much as possible, but we also
Right.
have a lot of appointments in a day.
Correct.
And there's only
There's
so much we can
accountability.
hold in our brain.
Yeah. Owners have to take some accountability there.
Mm-hmm. That was going to be my thing is the drugs.
Yeah.
Because like when they're like, oh no, we didn't give it today. We just gave like one, like instead, like okay, did you give them this, this, and this? Well, we gave him that, but we only gave half the dose and we skipped that one and we didn't give it last night. Like in those situations, I just like, it's a waste of the client's time. It's a
Yeah.
waste of my time.
We have
Mhm.
meticulously calculated that.
Yeah. So like if
Concoction
that happens,
for-
it's fine. Just call us and move the appointment. I don't want, because now you're going to come in and I'm just going to tell you
Yeah.
we can't do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll still try, but I know it's not going to go well because we
Yeah.
know the patient.
Yep.
So just call us and say we need to reschedule and we'd be more than happy to get you moved.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like just
We're
be
not-
honest.
We're not mad. We're just trying to educate how to make the whole
Yeah.
experience go smoother.
Legit answering the question.
Yes.
How to make it go more smoothly.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say that I'm getting a little irritated by
Mhm.
is like, because I've been on tech appointments a lot recently and we have to ask every appointment you have to ask what meds the patients are on. When clients say you have it in your chart, that drives me insane. Because yes, we have the drugs in our chart, but I don't know how you're giving it
Right.
at home.
Yep.
We can prescribe it one way, but you
Mhm.
could be giving it a different way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like we had an owner a long time ago giving something like rectally and it wasn't even like
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
it was not prescribed.
Why
So
would they
like
do
I just
that?
need
Just
you to
voluntarily?
verbally confirm what you're
Yes.
giving at what dose, just so I know. Even
Yep.
if it's in the chart.
Yeah.
Please just tell me.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, text me when you get home.
Yeah. Send us pictures of the bottles.
Yes.
Take videos if your animal
I
is
just don't like that.
coughing.
You have it in your chart. Okay.
Oh.
I guess.
Hi.
Yeah.
I think I could go on and on. But
Maybe this is kind of some of our pet peeves as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
probably.
it just, they're pet peeves
Yeah.
for a reason because
Yeah.
they create difficulty and it doesn't go smooth.
Mhm.
So we're just answering the
obviously
question.
nice people. I don't know. Sometimes people just come in and they just like don't want to talk or they just
Honestly,
aren't
when they have
nice.
full, complete trust in our knowledge, our expertise, and understand that
Mhm.
we are doing our best, those are just
Mhm.
the cream of the
Chef's
crop.
kiss.
Those people I just appreciate so much because
Mhm.
you have respect for me. I have respect for you.
It's just a great
it's just a great relationship because it is a relationship with your
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like your doctor, your vet, your everything.
It's
Yeah.
a beautiful experience for
Yes.
everyone involved.
Make it a great relationship. I don't want to break up. Yep. Okay.
All right. Number 2. My coworker recently mentioned that dogs can donate blood. I had never thought about this as a possibility before, but I think my dog would be a great candidate. He's 5 years old, healthy, and has no behavioral issues at the vet. Could you talk a bit more about the process for a dog or cat to donate blood and what it might be used for? What are some things that may disqualify an animal from donating blood? I'm not sure if this is something that varies state by state or clinic by clinic, but I would love to know more about it. Thanks so much. And all these questions are from Hope.
Thanks, Hope.
Those are great questions, Hope.
Yep.
They are.
Big fan.
They really are.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about blood transfusions or
Yeah.
donation or anything. So, yes, there are stipulations that if you are interested for your dog to donate, they have to meet certain requirements. So, an ideal canine donor is obviously healthy, fully vaccinated, weighing at least greater than 60 to 70 pounds lean body weight. Their PCV, which is basically the amount of red blood cells in their body, it has to be at least greater than 35% to be able to donate. Suitable temperament and response to sedation, because sometimes we do have to sedate since it takes a while.
Sure.
Ideally, and I'll kind of speak more to this in a second, ideally DEA 1 negative or even better, a universal donor. Heartworm negative, ideally also negative for tick-borne, rickettsial diseases, and blood-borne parasites, particularly Babesia species, because that is a blood disease. So I think that's basically, I got this information from a conference on the vet research website, whatever we use, so network. So that's kind of the gist of what you have to be as a donor. Now, what it meant by DEA 1 negative, it's because there's at least 8 different blood groups that have been identified in a dog. And so just like in people, you have to know their blood type and you have to cross match with the potential recipient because you don't want a transfusion reaction. So that's going to be DEA 1 is the preferable one, DEA negative. And that's just universal donor. So that's something that's going to be a little bit more easy for the recipient because most dogs don't have natural antigens to DEA 1. Now, of course, after you get the first transfusion, the body is at risk for developing a reaction for subsequent transfusions. So you still have to cross match or be aware of what type the blood was when they received the first transfusion.
Is that a national conference or is
it was at WVC, which is a huge conference. This is the recordings from 2022, but it's pretty standardized still. Nothing's really changed there. So
do you know much about cats?
Yes, I have to refresh my memory. I focused more on dogs for this question. Cats are a little bit more particular because there's different blood groups. So they're either A, B, or AB. And then you have to cross match. There's different kits you can use. Let's see. There's no, I'd have to read through so you're not like sitting here watching me read this, but cats are a little bit more tricky because they're a little bit more sensitive for what types of transfusions they can have.
Okay.
So it's a whole thing. And there are blood banks that you can, like for us, we don't have a donor on hand and we don't have a blood bank, but there is a referral center that they do store. So we can go get the blood products from them and then do the transfusion with our patients. You can refer them because it's you have to sit.
Intense.
You have to
I've
watch
done it once.
the
We
reactions.
picked up blood one time and I did the transfusion. Oh my God. I don't think I breathed. It was just a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's not just running fluids through a lot. It's
a lot.
It was scary.
I did it mostly in school, but I did it on a dog, I did it on a camel, and I did it on a horse. So the horse was plasma, but anyway, you have to sit and watch them like
you sure do, like a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure it runs okay. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's intense. And then of course there's other things that your vet would obviously go through and how much blood you can take reliably from the body, so that it doesn't put the donor at risk, things like that. So it's amazing. There were in school, especially a lot of the technicians, their cat or their dog with their donor, and they would just bring them on in if they needed a sample or needed more to store up on. And
uses her dog.
Yeah.
She has a golden retriever and she takes him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool if you can do it. It's really cool.
I'm not sure where you would go to get set up. I'm sure you could just reach out to the clinics,
Mm-hmm.
probably more of the specialty centers, and see how you can get involved in the program. So
I also feel like maybe it's something Sam told me, but I feel like they don't accept anyone younger than 7 or older than 7. I don't know if that's actually
potentially it
rule,
wasn't
but-
on this list of criteria, but I'm
Okay.
sure that varies
there's probably
too.
an age
Yeah.
limit.
Well, yeah, because the older you get, the
No,
more
yeah,
a risk you are for
absolutely. But-
developing. So it makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's 5. So
Mhm. And she asked like when would you use it? So my case I spoke on earlier was a good example. Is basically like if you're doing whole blood and your pet is losing blood for some reason. So the dog is bleeding out internally from a ruptured splenic tumor and needs to go to surgery. You're going to give it a transfusion to stabilize it first if you can. My case earlier was she just was anemic secondary to disease. So she needed a transfusion to reboost her system. We've seen a cat that needed it who was like at,
oh yeah.
oh my gosh, what was he at? Like 12%
Oh my god.
hematocrit?
Between like 10 and 12, I'm pretty sure.
I know. It's really when you start clinically, when you start getting below 20% in a hematocrit, you get really worried.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous and you start talking about a transfusion. So
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really cool
Good
thing
stuff.
that we can do that in the animal world.
yeah,
That's really cool.
in human world, but it's
well,
cool.
no,
'cause-
that's of course
Yeah,
in
yeah.
human med you can.
but it's an
But
advancement.
the fact that you can do
yeah.
it in vet med is a really cool.
Yep. It's
Mhm.
not cheap though.
No. Not at all.
Yeah.
Do you get paid to have your dog donate? Or
I
you
think
shouldn't have to pay, right?
I at least in school it wasn't a pay. It was
It was
more
just
of like
kinda
you
like a-
get services.
It's a donation. I
Right.
mean, yeah.
But you did get like the blood work free to, test
Sure.
our
For
health.
everything, sure.
Exactly. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Remember, send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode or a previous one. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.
Woohoo!
Bye-bye.
We did it.